wherever you are. And I usually go in to look and just kind of understand the area. If you are in Russia, just indicate you're in Russia. If you're in China, I know the people in China, they should be sleeping and dreaming that the day is almost about getting done. Otherwise, and I want to thank those here in the United States. And Mary, thank you for tuning in. And if you're just joining me, my name is Funton Daniel. I'm speaking from the state of Texas. And if you just join in, just share so that we have our audience, so that we increase the number of our people that are watching. And those just share is the most important thing. You can either copy and paste, you can do whatever you do, so that enable us have yeah, I got it. Anyway, but I have a reason, and it doesn't mean that I ignore your idea. I have a reason, but our main goal is to have our government in Boya, because we've had enough of La Republique. And I just want to thank you so much for taking of your time and be able to participate in this ongoing deliberations for the freedom of the Federal Republic of Ambazonia, the former British trusted territory. And whatever the circumstances, there are so many. I want to thank the United States. I want to thank the United States. I want to thank the U.S. Congress. I want to thank the U.S. Senate. I want to thank the U.S. Permanent Representative to the United Nations, Nikki Haley. And I want to thank the U.S. Secretary of State. And I want to thank the governor of the great state of Texas. Today, I am going to start talking about the United Nations to release the document. United Nations hasn't stood up for its obligations for the purpose it was created. And that is why you find chaotic scene going in and around the world, because United Nations has failed in its obligations. If the United Nations has been able to pursue its goal and its objectives, then we wouldn't have been experiencing all this chaotic scene in and around the world. And that is why I am here to talk about this ongoing crisis in the Federal Republic of Ambazonia. And before I proceed, I want to first of all call United Nations resolutions. United Nations resolutions 1608 X or 15. United Nations resolutions 1608 X 5 or 15, 21st of April 1961. This is not my document. I am not the author of this. It is the United Nations. It is the United Nations General Assembly that of 994 plenary meetings on Friday 21st of April 1961 at 3 p.m. in New York, here in the United States. This plenary session was meeting in New York. In this session, the General Assembly President was Frederick H. Boland of Ireland. That was the United Nations president at the time. It was Frederick Boland of Ireland, and the United Nations 15th General Assembly Vice President Tiersan from China, and the rapporteur of the 4th Committee report was Mr. Boy from Denmark. This Southern Cameroon independence was voted to take effect on October 1, 1961. This was the resolutions that was formed in this year. Those voted for the independence of the Southern Cameroon independence were 64 that voted for, and those that voted against were 23, and those who abstained, which means they did neither vote nor, but they remained neutral, and so there were 10 in number. So and still I'm going to read those names of the country. Pay close attention. Those countries that voted for the independence of the Federal Republic of Ambazonia. By then it was Southern Cameroon or West Cameroon. You can choose to call whichever name you feel familiar with. But now the name is Federal Republic of Ambazonia, which has an interim government that is led by Seseko and is currently languishing in jail in Nigeria. And I want to acknowledge, I want to make it clear, the Southern Cameroon interim government, wherever they are, whether they're in jail, whether they're in prison, wherever they are underground, wherever they are, the decisions they make on the Southern Cameroon territory remain the same. They are the government. It doesn't matter where they are. It doesn't matter where they're residing. It doesn't matter wherever they are. They are the interim government of Federal Republic of Ambazonia. So while we call on Nigeria to be able to clean its mess, because I understand Nigeria have had an explosive diarrhea. And so since they've had explosive diarrhea, it's something that comes out of a sudden, and treatment is not available when you have your stomach gurgling and then you realize that you have this explosive diarrhea, and now you're kind of wondering because you're in the middle of a situation that you don't know how to handle. While Nigeria is busy to clean its mess, I want to let Nigerians understand this, that the Federal Republic of Ambazonia is now a sovereign government, and any decisions they make affect the people of the Southern Cameroon. La République now and henceforth has no obligation, has no power to make any decision affecting the Southern Cameroon or the Federal Republic of Ambazonia. So I am asking all those senior divisional officers, the governors, who, wherever they are, that anything that they make has not applicable. They can choose to leave and leave the Southern Cameroon territory, or they can choose and stay and abide by the law of the Federal Republic of Ambazonia. All those senior divisional officers, I heard there is one here that was signed by the governor. I just want to let the governor know that those are not applicable in the Federal Republic of Ambazonia. It's a sovereign nation and it's a free nation that governed by the rule of law. That is the law of the land of the Federal Republic of Ambazonia, not La République. And La République has no custody, no power to make any decision that affect the Ambazonia. While we wait for the Nigeria to clean its explosive diarrhea, I want to make it clear. Before I proceed, let me read the names of those countries that voted for the sovereign or independent of the Federal Republic of Ambazonia. Out of the 64 nations that voted in favor, Honduras, Hungary, Iceland, India, Indonesia, Iran, Iraq, Ireland, Japan, Jordan, Lebanon, Liberia, Libya, Mali, Mexico, Morocco, Nepal, Netherlands, New Zealand, Nigeria, Norway, Pakistan, Philippines, Poland, Romania, Saudi Arabia, Sudan, Sweden, Thailand, Tunisia, Turkey, Ukraine, Soviet Socialist Republic, the Union of South Africa, The Union of Soviet is now called Republic of South Africa, but at the time it was called the Union of South Africa. Union of Socialist Republic, United Arab Republic, United Kingdom, which is Great Britain, Northern Ireland, United States of America, our great nation, United States of America, voted for the independence of the Federal Republic of Ambazonia. Venezuela, Yemen, Yugoslavia, Afghanistan, Albania, Australia, Austria, Bolivia, Bulgaria, Burma, Belarus, Russia, Soviet Socialist Republic, Canada, Ceylon, Chile, Costa Rica, Cuba, Cyprus, Czechoslovakia, Denmark, Dominican Republic, Ecuador, Ethiopia, Federation of Malaysia, Finland, Ghana, and Guinea. Those were the nations that voted for the sovereignty of independence of the Southern Cameroon. And that voted was on April 1961 at 3 p.m. here in the United States, in New York. Those nations, pay close attention, those nations that voted against the independence of the Federal Republic of Ambazonia, or the former British Trusted Territory, or the Southern Cameroon. You can choose whichever name you feel comfortable, but I want to make it clear that the Federal Republic of Ambazonia has now have a new name with an interim government. So those nations that voted against the sovereignty of the Southern Cameroon, they were just 23 in number, and I am going to list them out. 1. Israel, Ivory Coast, Luxembourg, Madagascar, Niger, Paraguay, Senegal, Upper Volta, Uruguay, Argentina, Belgium, Brazil, Cambodia, Cameroon, which is the current nuisance that we have that is disturbing our sovereignty, La République. Central African Republic, Chad, China, Congo, Brazzaville, Dahomey, France, Gabon, Greece. And what do you notice about these names that voted against Southern Cameroon? Most of the French colony voted against the sovereignty of the Federal Republic of Ambazonia, the Anglophone-speaking territory. Most of the countries that are under the French colonial territory voted against, and that is why if you listen to some of the names that are called, means France had influence to tell them what they should do, but that did not disturb the sovereignty of the Federal Republic of Ambazonia. This is the name again: Ivory Coast, Senegal, Upper Volta, China, Republic of Central Africa, which is Brazzaville or Congo, France, Gabon. So all the French territory in Africa was under the influence of France to vote against the sovereignty of the people of the Anglophone territory. Let me go again. Those that abstained, those that did not vote against the sovereignty of the Federal Republic of Ambazonia, the names are in number, 10 of them. Italy, Panama, Peru, Portugal, Spain, Togo, Colombia, El Salvador, Guatemala, and Haiti. Those were the 10 that did not vote for the sovereignty of the Southern Cameroon. And yet, the people had their independence. And let me read from the United Nations trusteeship, the United Nations Trusteeship Council. The United Nations Trusteeship Council said, Trusteeship Council, in referring to the Turkish Council suspended its operation in 1994 for the sovereign, for independence of Peru. This is a nation that the United Nations has suspended his obligations over Peru, that they no longer have any influence, which means, why did they suspend? This is the background. I'm going to read it as it says. In setting up an international trusteeship system, the charter established the Trusteeship Council, one of the main organs of the United Nations, and assigned to it task of supervising and administration of the trust territory placed under the trusteeship. The main goal of the system was to promote advancement of the inhabitants of the trust territory and their progressive development towards self-government or independence. The Trusteeship Council has made up of 5 permanent members of the Security Council: China, France, Russia, Federation, the Russian Federation, the United Kingdom, and the United States. The aim of the system has been to fulfill and extend all the trusted territory as self-government and independence. If the goal of the Trustee Council is to ensure that the territory under its supervision has meet the obligations of its self-government, otherwise they cannot supervise if they already meet their obligations. How long can the Southern Cameroon stay as a trustee territory since 1961 that are being patched to one nation that they can become a sovereign nation? Because France is the sole control of whatever happened in the sub-Saharan Africa. That is why you see that they voted against the Southern Cameroon territory, despite the fact that their independence was won. Why should the people of Southern Cameroon have to go through this persecution? The people deserve to have their government. The government is already formed. We have lived with La République for the past nightmare, the past 56 years of rotten system of government. We have been in 56 years of rotten system of government where you have 2 individuals staying in power for the past 56 years, and there is no transfer of power. There is no free and fair elections. There is no. You have one single individual or 2 of them that